What's going on, everybody? Christopher Lopez here with the Beast Life 24/7 podcast. This is episode number 4. Before we dive in, I urge you to go to iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Anchor, or even YouTube. I post these up as videos on YouTube, so go check that out. Subscribe to one of those media outlets to make sure that you get the latest episodes. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff for guys to take their business to the next level. And just improve their relationships, improve their life, and help them become stronger, the strongest people that they can. So, but just remember that everything we talk about is rooted in exercise. So, if before we do anything else, I would, if you're not exercising already, you're not doing any sort of strength training, lifting weights, I probably should tell you that you should. You may not want to hear that, but I'm just speaking from personal experience. The weights saved me, man. The lifting weights saved my life, and I know that if you're in a tough spot and you just start working out, it's going to do so much for you. It's going to do so much for you. So if you have any questions about that, that topic in itself, I have a blog dedicated to that. You can go to the website jerseybeast.tv, and there's a ton of free training information up there. So I would check that out. But let's just dive right in. So that said, start hitting the weights if you're not. But let's dive into today's episode. So episode number 4, what we're going to be talking about today is the process of reframing negatives into positives. Now, I am by nature a very negative person. I'm a pessimist. I always look, not so much anymore, but I always used to look at the worst case scenario. The glass is always half empty. Somebody would say something to me in a positive way, and I said, yeah, but what about this part? And it would be the negative portion. And as I get older, and as the fact that, excuse me, the fact that I'm a dad now and that I want to create a positive life for my daughter and with my wife, I had to kind of change my old habits and my old ways. So one way that I've been doing that or been practicing now, by no means am I perfect. I have slip-ups every once in a while, but I catch myself, and that's the important part, is that I catch myself when I slip up and I change it. And now sometimes I catch the thoughts before they even leave my mouth, which is always a good thing. So reframing, what does that mean? So basically you basically will get back in your day what you focus on. So if you are focusing on the negative portions of things, or if you are focusing on the glass half empty, or just the bad parts of your day, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that for the rest of your day. So the second you start seeing negative portions arise in your day or negative thoughts, you have to get rid of them immediately. One way to do that is by reframing. So what do I mean? So in the morning, right? I wake up about 4 o'clock, 4:30, depending on the day, and there are times when I'm tired. I'm just tired, but I can't tell myself that I'm tired. So instead of focusing on the tiredness, right, what I try and do the night before is I have a notepad. Like I'll just show you guys. If you guys are watching this, I have a notepad. I write down my notes the night before. I'm a writer, man. I don't do anything. I use Evernote too and apps like that, but I like to write notes. I like to carry I have like a stack of marble pads with notes in it, just from ideas and things I have to get done, and programs that I've bought and I've studied. So I just like to write. I write it down. This way I can refer back to my notes. So the night before, like last night, I wrote down the notes of stuff I had to accomplish today. The podcast was one of them, and I woke up this morning tired as all hell. And I woke up, I started to feel that tired idea hitting my head, and I had to get rid of it. So what I did was I pulled out my notes before I left in the morning and saw what I had to get done, and I was ready. Because ultimately, the notes that I set up for today set up my day, which basically set up the next few months of my life. So, the thing about daily practice, the thing about getting what you want out of life and reaching goals is that you have to get a W for the day. You could set long-term goals, lose 60 pounds, lose 100 pounds, gain, $50,000 a month, whatever your goal is, you could set that. But unless you get a W every day, and from a smaller perspective, a micro perspective, if you have more losses than wins, then you're not going to get to that $50,000 a month. You're not going to get to that 100 pounds of weight loss or whatever the case is. So by reframing the morning and looking over my notes and reframing it and saying, okay, I'm up. I'm not up because I have to go to work. I'm up because I have to get this stuff done. And subconsciously you start thinking about the reason why you have to get the stuff done. And it's to make a better life for my family and for my daughter. So you reframe it, you get that second win, and it happens. Another thing I struggled with was when I got a trainer to help out with the gym to work here. What's up, Zach? If you're listening, I struggled with letting go of the sessions at night, and I felt like nothing against him, but like I was training here, before he came, I was training here for at least a year and a half, something like that, by myself, running the place by myself. And, I struggle with letting go. I'm like, oh, the place is going to fall apart. I have to be there. And I know a lot of business owners struggle with that. But I reframed it, and now it's fine. He kills it. Everybody loves him. He's a great trainer. He's a great kid. And now instead of saying, oh, my God, I have to be at the gym, I'm saying, okay, now my evenings are free to spend time with my daughter. So you reframe it into a positive. It changes the perspective. It changes the way you look at it. And it ultimately makes you have more positive thoughts than negative thoughts in the day. You get a W. And we all know, we just talked about it, when you get a W for the day and over the course of weeks and over the course of months, if you have more wins than losses, you have a winning record, you're going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So you have to stay focused, and you have to readjust your thoughts and reframe. Another one that you can take a look at is failure. So it's not necessarily stuff that you're dealing with on a daily basis. Maybe there's this overlying theme in your life that's been haunting you. There's something behind the curtain that's been haunting you. Maybe some people know about it, maybe they don't. But for me, for a long time, that was failing out of college. I mean, that ate me up. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, we talked about it in episode 1, so go listen to that after this episode. But I failed out of college my freshman year. I went to Boston University for engineering. Long story short, I failed out. I was super depressed when I came home, and that's when I started lifting weights, which is what changed my life around. But long story short, that haunted me for 10 years. I mean, even after I opened the gym, it haunted me. I felt like I was no good. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like I let my parents down. I felt like I left myself down. But the reality is, if I graduated from Boston University, right, there's a really good chance I would be in debt. And there's also a really good chance that I would be an engineer somewhere, fat, out of shape, unhappy, not doing a podcast, not inspiring people, not changing people's lives in my gym. There's so many other avenues that could have happened had I graduated as an engineer. And the only reason why I started getting into shape is because to feel better about myself, because I failed out of school. So, I mean, if you don't look at it like that, I don't know what to tell you. So failing out of school was a blessing to me, and I look back on it now, seeing where I am now, and realizing that that's the case. Now, I can still let it beat me up, but I choose not to. I choose to reframe it. I choose to basically say that was what was supposed to happen. And now that I look at it that way, the business is doing well. I'm doing stuff that I enjoy. I have time to spend with my family at night. I get to go to work in sweatpants and a hoodie. I mean, I get to wear whatever I want to work. It's great, But you have to reframe it. You have to reframe it. So you have to find that silver lining in that bad situation and figure out what good came out of it. You can always let it beat you up. You can always let it beat you up, but you have to choose to take the other road and not allow it to. The other thing, there's a couple more examples we're going to talk about. The next one is work. So when we focus on work, we focus on the negative aspects of work. We focus on the boss that we hate. We focus on that one person in the office that won't shut up. Like, they just drive you nuts when they speak. It's like nails on a chalkboard. You know who I'm talking about. We all have one, right? I mean, not anybody that works here. There's only 3 of us. But you have to look at it from the perspective of, maybe they're a certain way because of something that happened to them, and maybe they can't reframe it. So the best thing you can do is treat that person right, give him your time if you have the time to give him, and just not let that sap your energy, right? Because there's always people like that at work, or maybe it's not the people, maybe it's just that your job, maybe your job sucks the energy out of you, right? Maybe it just sucks the energy out of you. but you have to look at the positives. When I worked in New York City for like 5 years, it was a grind. The job was a grind. I mean, it was a commute. I had to commute in. It was a long day, anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. Some days were 20 hours. Some days I was up for 2 days. I mean, depending on the job. There were days I didn't sleep. But the silver lining was, for me, is I got to travel. I got to see places I probably wouldn't have seen. I learned skills. Looking back, I learned skills that help me now in my business, building websites and sales pages and things like that. And, the silver lining may not hit you right away. It may hit you down the road. But you just have to stay positive. If you're going through something rough and there's a rough patch, you say, there's a reason for this. There's a reason for this. And the reason might even be that it's a test, right? God's testing you to see what you're made of so that you can inspire other people. So for me, like, I know that the trainer that works for me, he failed out of college too. And when I first spoke with him in our interview, when we had our first interview, he told me that. And he was totally honest. And he basically said, I screwed up. And I told him my story. And I said, look, dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's a silver lining in there somewhere. And I think, sometimes the silver lining, sometimes the positive, reframing it, could be that later on you're going to tell your story and inspire somebody. Maybe somebody needs to hear your story. And everybody's got a story. And that's what makes us all unique. Everybody's past is different. Everybody's decisions are different. And your story is what will help you connect with other people, right? So maybe that's a silver lining. So when it comes to work, if you're stuck in a dead-end job or you work with people you hate, there's something positive in there, but you just have to hang on. If you don't see it, keep looking, because it's there. I promise you it's there. All right? Last topic we're going to talk about from a business perspective is sales. Now, I'm a trainer. I'm a business owner. Sales is some part of what we do here. Obviously, we have a service and we try and sell the service to people. But you have to reframe sales. Sales is a negative word to a lot of people. They don't like the idea of selling or convincing somebody that they have to buy something or pressure them into it. And if you reframe the word sales to helping, your take on how you speak to people will be different. If you're not in it trying to sell people, but you're in it trying to help people. So basically, people come into the gym, I sit them down, we go over goals, we go over some goal setting things, we figure out their why, and all these things, and we put it all together. And basically I say this, I say something along the lines of, doesn't matter to me whether you sign up or not, but based on this information, it looks like you need this, and here's why. And I tell them why. And I don't ever sell anybody a training package for money, because that's not how I do it. But I try and have them sign up for something that's going to help them based on what they told me with their goals and based on what they actually need. Okay? And if you go to it from that perspective and people see that you're not just selling them, but you're legitimately looking out for them. The last conversation I had with somebody, I said, look, I'm telling you this as a friend because I know you have to lose the weight. And here's most likely how you're going to have to do it. And, that's just how it goes. Sometimes I talk to somebody and the perfect fit for them is the lowest price package, because that's just what they need. And I'm not going to upsell them to something they don't need. So you have to look at it from a perspective of not selling and from a perspective of helping people. If you get that in your mind and you are helping people better their situation, better their lives, you're not going to come across salesy. You're not going to come off like you're hard selling them or you're pressuring them into signing up. All those old school sales tactics, yeah, they work, but you know what happens when you use those? After people realize that they've been sold because of pressure, they despise you. They don't like you. They feel like you're shady. You might get the sale up front, but that relationship you're trying to build is not going to be there. It's just not going to be there. You're gonna ruin that relationship. And if that person tells one friend, and that friend tells two friends, and all those friends tell two other friends, you're screwed, man. In a day and age where everything's online and all the reviews and stuff are online, you have to be very careful on how you treat people. You can't get away with it anymore. If you've been selling people like the old school way for a long time, you're not going to be able to get away with it much longer. So my advice to you is to treat people with respect and help them if it comes down to the fact that your business is based on sales and your business is based on not making numbers, but ultimately selling somebody a service. Think of it as helping. give them the best option that fits them, and you will be way ahead of the game because the guy down the street is probably high pressure selling. So if you compare the two, there's no comparison. And people will always go back to the person that treats them better. If you treat somebody the best, I've turned people away. They come sit down and say, you know what? This is probably not the right gym for you, but I'll tell you what, try this gym instead because they have what you're looking for. Instead of me selling them, I'm helping them. I basically told them this is not their scene most likely. They're probably not going to like it. I can take their $100 or $200 up front, but they ain't going to sign up, and they're going to tell their friends that it was a terrible place and that it wasn't the right fit for them. But if you forward them to another place that they love, they're going to tell all their friends, that guy's awesome. He didn't even try and sell me. So go with the fact that you're trying to help people. It will go much, much further. So the bottom line, guys, is that if you're having a crappy day or you have a crappy situation, find the silver lining. Try and reframe it in your head to something that is useful and something that will pay dividends later on, okay? Because there's a positive side of everything. There's a positive side of, no matter how bad it is, there's a positive side of everything, all right? So try and find that. I'm curious to see what the feedback is on this episode. So if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know. If you subscribe on YouTube, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's any other topics you would like me to cover, please let me know. Write a comment on my YouTube channel or on the blog, beastlife247.com. It's finally up. Go check it out. And that's it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Remember, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Anchor, and YouTube. Subscribe to one of those. YouTube obviously is a video portion of this, a video version of this. Go check it out, and it'll allow you to leave comments, and make sure you subscribe. I'll talk to you guys in the next podcast.